Minnesota Vikings currently have the best safety duo in the NFL on the books in Harrison Smith as well as Anthony Harris. Technically, they have them on the books. Harrison Smith is still a beast, still the best all-around safety for my money, even though he's massively disrespected. But he is 31 years of age, as well as Anthony Harris is quickly becoming one of the best free safeties in the game. But also, long-term contract negotiations not going well. I think it's very unlikely that he plays the 2020 season on the franchise tag and could still be traded and or rescinded. So the Vikings have one safety. The Vikings have one safety that you know is going to be on the roster in 2020. I'm talking about the backups too. Harrison Smith is the only safety that you know for a fact will be on the Vikings 2020, which is kind of scary and also something that's not being talked about enough, where safety is not just a low key, it's a massive high key need for the Vikings heading into the 2020 draft. And we're talking about just beyond the starters as well. Like Jayron Kearse is gone. He was valuable on special teams and as well as niche, playing that big nickel role. Andrew Sendejo, he gone as well, where he was a former starter for a number of seasons, came in, was okay in the slot, worked sort of took over Jayron Kearse's role. Frankly, it's one of the reasons why Kearse left. He's gone. He's with the Browns. Marcus Epps, the 6th rounder out of Wyoming last year. Yeah, remember him? Yeah, he was eventually poached off the practice squad by the Eagles, who were decimated in the secondary, so you don't even have the youth movement going on there. So the Vikings need bodies on the back end. Like, it is actually a bit of a crisis in that safety position. So the Vikings are frankly lucky that they have 12 picks to potentially replenish that back end. So where do you start? I think the Vikings low-key could take a safety a lot sooner than you think. Where, for me, safety, I think there's a clear big three. That's Grant Delpit from LSU. I think overall, he would be my number one safety. Xavier McKinney from Alabama as well as up there, plus Antoine Winfield Jr. from the Gophers, even though he's not a traditional safety, but he can put him all over the place, put him in the slot, free safety, the box, etc. So I think those are the big three. And, I mean, they will be in the late first, early second type range. And would it shock anyone at all if the Vikings took a safety 22-25? I mean, a little bit shocking, but then you look at the reality. If they're 100% intent on trading Anthony Harris or rescinding that tag, they will need to replace a starter. So it does make a lot of sense, especially at that range of the draft. Day two, guys, where once you get past the big three, I think there is a clear second tier of safeties that come in day two. Potentially start, ideally you'd want them to sit for a year or two, but Kyle Duggar from small school Lenore Ryan, as well as physical freak Jeremy Chin from Southern Illinois Saluki, who we profiled a little bit earlier, where especially Chin. Ideally, if Jeremy Chin was able to come in, play that Jayron Kearse type role for a couple years, then eventually work his way up, that'd be great. As well as something that you've seen for safeties in the Zimmer regime is that they have worked their way up. I mean, Harrison Smith was obviously day one there you go. Andrew Sendejo worked his way up, eventually became a starter. Anthony Harris worked his way all the way up from the bottom. Same thing with Jayron Kearse, came in as a 7th round pick. So the fact that you're asking a safety to come in day one, I mean, it really is a departure from what the Vikings have done at safety, because Marcus Epps in the Zimmer era would be the highest drafted safety, and that was a 6th round pick, right? Pretty right there, yeah. But then also you get into the day three, guys. You got the Terrell Burgess from Utah. PFF mocked him to the Vikings here a couple days ago. Tanner Muse coming out of Clemson is a guy that I really like. Should be available in the later rounds. Geno Stone from Iowa. You can almost put Geno Stone in the second tier conversation. We'll be mad at you. J.R. Reed from Georgia, if you want to go full on nepotism there, was a stud for Georgia. I think he's really getting slept on. Could be in the early day three conversation, as well as a guy I like, the thumper Antoine Brooks Jr. from Maryland, who's basically like a small linebacker, but could come in and play that niche Jayron Kearse third safety big nickel role as well. So there are a lot of options there for safety, but like I said, I mean, the Vikings will need to dip into the draft pool for a potential replacement for Harris, as well as depth, as well as special teams. Plus, I mean, hate to say it, but Harrison Smith ain't getting any younger, is on the wrong side of 30. I think he does have a number of years left on the tires for sure, but also, I mean, Vikings do have to start estate planning, if you know what I mean. So, I mean, don't be shocked if the Vikings go safety a little bit earlier than you think they should or could, potentially. Plus, also, don't be shocked if they go safety more often than you think, because it is nice that they have 12 picks. They could go safety early, a safety a little bit later on. So eventually you have your Anthony Harris as well as your Jayron Kearse replacements. But, I mean, man, it is rough. But let us know your thoughts on Vikings drafting a safety. Question mark? Let us know in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. You want to support the work, pull us up in the Venmo. Plus give us a follow on social media as well. But until next time, Skol, production value.